Hello, everybody. My name is Wes.
I'm Chanel.
And welcome to the first episode of the Tune Out Podcast.
Whoop, the Tune Out Podcast.
Yeah! There always has to be one of those. I gotta come in with it. Yeah. Yeah, this is the very first episode of something we've been working on for a while.
Yeah, we the way it started was kind of funny. So last year, later last year, I randomly got the idea about a music review podcast, but I thought of Wes right away. I was like, I DM'd Wes on Instagram. I was like, yo, Wes, what would you think of starting a music review podcast? And he
I was like, starting a music review podcast? Of course I'd love to start a music review podcast. Say less.
Yeah, and his reaction was awesome. Like, I could tell he was super down.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
we live near each other and stuff too, and it was like, I think it was very convenient for us to do it, so we ran with it, and then we just started having meetings, like, on the phone via Zoom. No, not Zoom. I'm lying.
We had a couple of Zoom meetings.
We had a couple of Zooms. So it was mostly phone calls, and we just planned it out for a while.
Yeah, we had like a good amount of meetings, like literally going back and forth, trading ideas. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is really gonna be something.
Yeah, little business meetings. Yeah, little contracts.
This is your half of the IP.
Yeah, and then but getting the name was probably the hardest part.
The biggest struggle, legitimately, like the biggest struggle in the world.
So we hope you guys like it, because it was a struggle.
Yeah, facts. If you don't like this name, I was about to be like, stop listening, but don't stop listening. It's the first episode. Stay here. You're going to love it. I guarantee it.
We like beg them, please stay.
Yeah. No, but that name was like the biggest struggle in the world. We probably had like, I think last time I might have said like 20 plus, but it might have even been 40 plus, to be honest.
I remember us sitting in silence, just brainstorming, like racking our brains, like, what can we name this podcast?
Literally.
Yeah. And then I thought of it kind of randomly, and I texted you about it, and I made sure it wasn't taken, and you were like, you liked it. So
yeah, I was like, this is the one right here.
So here we are, the Tune Out Podcast. And yeah, so yeah, we kind of also thought like we would talk a little bit about how we got the inspiration behind the podcast, and more so like how we met, how we became friends, who are we, what are we doing,
give you guys a little backstory. Our origin story.
Yeah. So we met in college. So we met in hallway in between class.
Unnamed university.
Insert
an unnamed hallway.
It's like when they blurt out names and stuff, or like swear words, and
it's like when witness protection program is like, we went to unnamed university.
Yeah, so we met in the hallway in between classes.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a blur for me, I'll be honest, but I know that we like
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been years. We sat next to each other in the hallway, so it was like there's like rows of chairs across from each other.
Yeah.
And I sat near enough to him, and then we just got to talking. And I know that it came up that you played guitar.
Because of course, as a musician, who wouldn't mention that they play an instrument for the ego boost?
Right, it's like, part of you. You gotta show off a little
It's a personality trait.
No, this is like very random. I'll tell it later.
Yeah.
I was just remembering a project we had in, I was gonna say the name of the university. Oops.
Unnamed class.
They were like, one of the assignments was like, it was a group project, and we had to choose what would we bring with us to a deserted island to survive. Yeah. And I remember saying a guitar. I was like, I would bring it. Like, to me at that time, I was so like in love with the guitar that I was like, I would bring a guitar. It's like, I need it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So yeah, we just like bonded over that. And I was just really excited to meet someone that played guitar and that was into music. So I remember we followed each other on Instagram, and from then on, we just kept hanging out in between classes and
just talking about music all the time. Yeah. Like literally being like, yo, have you heard this project? Have you seen this show? It's about what's that show with Chance the Rapper, Cardi B?
Rhythm and Flow.
Yeah, Rhythm and
Free
Flow.
Promo.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not. But yeah, literally just like talking about music all the time. Like anytime we had some time between classes, or even just whenever we hung out outside of that.
Yeah, I remember like it was always the same routine with like later on, like closer to senior year, you would send me a Snapchat text.
Yeah.
You'd just be like, yo, like,
Chanel, where you at?
Which floor are you on? It was like our business building. And we would just hang out. I know we had a couple of classes together too. But
yeah, in unnamed university.
At unnamed university, it's a
no
big
free
mystery.
promo.
You'll never know. Yeah. I mean, if you know us, you know, but
yeah, facts.
It's not even that secret.
Yeah, facts. I should have thought about that. If you know us, you know exactly what we're talking about. But they don't get free promo unless they sponsor us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I know we also hung out outside of class a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember we just listened to music like while hanging out too. Like
Literally,
we would watch
yeah.
like Tiny Desks concerts.
Yeah, and
Tiny
we're gonna
Desk
get into
concerts.
those some of the good ones.
We
Yeah,
definitely will because we love them. But yeah, we just kept hanging out, and the more we hung out with, the more we like bonded over music.
yeah,
And obviously we talk about other things, but
yeah. Facts. We weren't just like, oh, hello, music.
let's talk about it right now.
Yeah, having a bad day? Screw that. What did you listen to today? What did you?
That would be really weird.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Yo, I'm going through it. All right, cool. But have you heard this song though? But
It's
yeah,
a song to cheer you up.
yeah,
But yeah, we that's kind of how we became friends and how we got to where we are now. So
Yeah.
we kind of wanted to also use this podcast to just open the conversation to everyone because we just love talking about music and not just like reviewing music, but just music as a topic, like
yeah.
everything about it.
Literally just like sharing love. We hope to like build a community with you guys, talk about what you guys like as you guys learn more about what we like and what we're into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I know that. So we also wanted to talk just to get to know us a little better. We wanted to talk a little bit more about our individual tastes in music
Oh, yeah.
and how it's evolved because I know we have similar tastes, like we align
Yeah.
in some ways, but we also have very different backgrounds with how we got to liking the music we do now.
Facts.
My music taste is pretty broad, so I would say though for my first genre, I guess,
Yeah.
that I really gravitated towards was R&B.
Aha.
So I listened. I mean, I was young, so I listened to like pretty much what was on the radio.
Yeah.
And I watched a lot of music videos too. I feel like that was a big part of like my childhood is watching, like Rihanna,
Yeah.
Chris Brown, Usher, people like that on on demand.
Shout
Yeah,
out
remember
on demand.
Yeah, so like pretty much R&B.
That mid 2000s R&B. Mint.
Yeah. So I would listen to a lot of R&B, and then I know going into middle school, like some years later, had like a skateboarding phase
Aha.
one summer.
Aha.
So I remember my cousin I think she had like an iPod, like an actual like the iPod Nano.
The
Remember
dinosaur,
that?
yeah.
The iPod Nano. She had one, and we would just shuffle through her songs. Like she had a select few,
Yeah.
and I listened to a lot of like Linkin Park.
Yep. Shout out
I
to
was
the
gonna say
goats.
LinkedIn Park. LinkedIn. Oh my god.
Adulting 101.
Adulting. This is how you know I've been.
LinkedIn Park.
Yeah. Linkin Park, Green Day, Black Eyed Peas. I know I came across some like Oasis, like Wonderwall. That was already popular, but I really liked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those types of bands, artists.
Yeah.
I know that I also, this is super random, but do you know that a song called "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor"?
Oh, of course. That's
song
a bomb.
I don't know why that just came to my memory.
That's a
like
hood classic.
That's like a metal song that I liked at the time. I think it's actually still pretty good.
Listen, what I feel like the most catchy thing about that song is just the countdown, like the 1, nothing wrong with me, 2, nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that song so much.
That's a good song. And also Biggie Smalls. I forgot about that. Like
Shout
I remember
out to the GOAT.
Yeah, I remember his song "Juicy."
Yeah.
That was a bop. Yeah.
It's a funny title. Juicy.
I know. It was all a dream.
I used to read Word Up magazine.
That was like on repeat all the time.
Yeah.
And then I got into some of his other songs, and so yeah, that was a little bit of like all over the place. That was like when
Yeah.
I was like around middle school, and then going into high school, I gravitated a lot towards like I started playing guitar more. Like I was in like beginner intermediate ish, so like whatever.
Yeah, she
So
be
I'm-
playing.
Stop. She be just like a quick solo, real quick.
Yeah, she be playing.
Brings out the electric. But yeah, like I got into John Mayer because I loved his
Yeah.
songwriting. His guitar skills are, I mean, we know.
He's a
Come on,
beast.
he's John Mayer. Like you
Literally
should
that.
know.
All I have to say is he's John Mayer, and people be like, "Yep,
Yep, exactly. He
that's a
sings
good
through
guitar
his-
player, right?"
Yeah, dude, he's good. Like he sings through his guitar is what I like to say. Like
Yeah.
the amount of emotion he puts into it. And then towards senior year, I really got into Paramore.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Feel that's mad loud on the mic capture. I love it.
anyways. Yeah. So I got into Paramore in my senior year, and that was like a big one for me because like I was going through some hard times.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like mentally, I was just like it was a tough year. I mean, I think senior year can be either like your best year or your worst.
Yeah.
Because it's
big
like
facts.
there's so much change coming, and I was like, overwhelmed with having to decide on a college and applying and all, and just other things,
Shout out FAFSA.
Yeah, there was just a lot going on that year. So I feel like they kind of got me through it, and I would watch like, especially seeing Hayley Williams, like when she performed,
the queen.
It's just like, yeah, dude, it's like electric. I don't want to use the word electric.
Well,
She's
that's
so
a good word
dynamic.
for
Yeah,
it,
like
though.
she's so
Yeah.
like dynamic as an artist, and yeah, that was like a big one for me. And then going into college, there was a lot.
Yeah, let's get
A
into
lot
it.
of different types of music there.
Yeah.
So I had Spotify Premium, so I got a lot of recommendations, which I love. I can go on about how I love Spotify
Yeah, facts.
for introducing me to so many new artists and stuff. But I remember liking a lot of indie rock, indie punk rock.
Yeah.
So I listened to there's this band called Beach Fossils that I loved.
They're good.
Have
I've
you heard
only
them?
probably only like one song by
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
but from what I've heard, they're really good.
Yeah, they're good. And like a lot of these bands that I would listen to were kind of like grungy, like not super like mastered, very like overdone production. It was just
Yeah.
like very raw, and like there was, I don't know, that's why I liked it though,
Yeah, hell yeah.
So Beach Fossils was great. Real Estate, Beach House, a little bit of that. I loved. Have you heard of Block Party?
Yeah.
They're kind of like an older.
I love
My
Block
uncle
Party.
actually. I started re-listening to them because I had been knowing about them because of my uncle.
Yeah.
Like years ago, that was one of his favorite
Yeah.
bands, along with like U2. So that's like a classic,
Yeah.
So Block Party's awesome. I listened to them, and just like so many more. But then towards my like later college years, I started getting like, rubbing your hands together.
Aha. Let's talk about it.
I started getting into like more R&B, hip hop again.
Yeah. Say the name.
Say the name.
Say the name.
Do you want me to say Chance the Rapper?
No. He starts with an A.
Anderson .Paak.
Let's go.
Yeah. I was gonna save that for last, but okay.
Oh, you right there. My fault.
No, it's all good. I was gonna probably mention him like second.
Yeah.
To be fair, because I'm so excited. I love Anderson .Paak.
The GOAT.
Yeah, so I started listening to like Chance the Rapper, his Coloring Book album. I would say because I remember walking, from school one day randomly. It was like the afternoon, the sun was shining. Like,
Yeah.
I was feeling good.
Yeah.
And I was listening to that, and it just felt so good. And I was like,
Hell
man,
yeah.
like I miss listening to like music like this, because I had been like I had been listening to a lot of like indie rock. So it was just more, it was like uplifting to hear stuff like, that album.
It's a great album.
Yeah. So I started listening to a little bit of like J. Cole, Kendrick.
Aha.
I can't even say I'm like a mega fan. I don't even want to like, because I feel like people are very defensive about them.
Yeah.
You like rap is like, I feel like I don't want to touch it too much.
I'm out here smiling ear to ear. I'm like, yeah, I love Kendrick. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit of like a mix, and then also like BJ the Chicago Kid.
yeah, he's a
He's
beast.
great. His voice is awesome. Childish Gambino.
Another one. Amazing.
How do you pronounce it? Hiatus Coyote?
Yeah, Hiatus Coyote. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love
They're like a
Hiatus
cool
Coyote.
blend, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're really good.
they're amazing.
Sir as I say Sir, but
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
if
Sir.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, SIR, but like S is capital, R is capital. Really great R&B. Like just like it feels good to listen to. Like
Facts.
yeah, and
A
so
voice
many more.
like butter.
Mm-hmm. Like I mean, there's like Ari Lennox. Like there's just so many.
Yeah.
Keanu Day, Kalani.
Kalani.
Oh my God, yeah. Like but a bunch of R&B people. Her.
Yeah.
Can I forget her, please?
Yeah, facts. Her. Oh my
Her.
God.
There's probably so many people I'm forgetting that are like I loved, and I have them all spread out like on my playlist.
Did you say SZA?
How did I
The
How did
queen.
I miss that?
The queen.
I listen to her all the time.
It's because you
SZA.
got good days on your mind.
Okay, Wes. Tudunch.
You're gonna get a lot more though.
Oh my God. Yeah, SZA obviously. Like,
Yeah.
we had
SZA's
those two
amazing.
albums. Well, Control is like the one.
Yeah, facts.
I would say. But yeah, she was great. I
Yeah.
love her.
SZA's crazy good.
But yeah, I feel like up till now, like I still listen to mostly R&B. I switch it up though, you know, try to keep it fresh.
You gotta. I feel like if you listen to the same thing for too much time, you'll be like, I am over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. I always like look at my Discover Weekly, or I'll try to like different types of music to like keep it the rotation fresh. But yeah, I would say like that's for me. Like I like a little bit of everything though.
Yeah.
Even like Latino music, like
yeah, facts. Shout out to culture.
Anyway, but yeah, like that's for me. I would say that kind of like summarizes it. A long summary, but
no, that's a good summary. You know, you got to give the people what they want.
Yeah,
you gotta...
a little bit of a taste of my taste.
Facts. For me, I love telling this story because it all started off with anime. It all anime YouTube. Literally, the same thing with like hip hop and R&B is like the same for me at the very beginning. Like hearing everything that you would hear on the radio growing up. But I would say that like the first real thing that I listened to and I was like, okay, I like this was like rock music. And it was a lot that I heard through like animated music videos, like little music videos people would make on YouTube, taking together like different clips from animes and just putting it to whatever song they felt like. And like Linkin Park was like probably the biggest band that people would do that with. Like if anybody listening knows what AMVs are, they're like, yep, Linkin Park.
Made music videos.
Yeah.
So were they like compilations, like kind of like?
Yeah, like basically you would look up like your favorite show. This is so nerdy. You would look up your favorite show and then you would just look up like Linkin Park afterwards. And so I would be like Naruto, Linkin Park.
You're exposing yourself.
Oh, it's so hard. But if anybody listening to this knows what I'm talking about, they're gonna be like, yes, talk about the AMVs. So yeah, and like that's how I discovered like Linkin Park. I remember like probably the first 3 big rock songs that made like a big impact on me to where I was like, I love this genre, were the Hell Song by Sum 41, Meant to Live by Switchfoot.
That's a great song.
Which, oh my god,
is great.
Yeah, they're great. That opening riff, just a so I got chills just doing that.
Oh my god.
And Breaking the Habit by Linkin Park were like the first 3 big songs to where I was like, what is this genre that I'm listening to? And from there, like my taste just it stuck to rock mostly when I was in like middle school. And the funny thing was when it came to like hip hop, like as a kid I was one of those kids that was like, yo, I was born in the wrong generation, bro. Like
old soul.
I was like, all this modern hip hop is crap and it's I was like, 50 Cent trash.
Oh my god. I remember, wow, 50 Cent, that's a throwback.
That's a throwback and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so in middle school and elementary school, like all my hip hop taste was in the 80s. So I was like, yo, Kool Moe Dee, the greatest rapper alive. Rakim, who actually is one of the greatest rappers alive. I was like, greatest rappers alive. Big Daddy Kane, you know, just like a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And by the time I'd gotten to high school, a lot of what I was listening to was just like modern rock bands. So like Breaking Benjamin, 3 Days Grace, Chevelle, Sick Puppies, a bunch of bands like that. And by the time I got to high school, my music taste in hip hop was starting to catch up to the more modern times. So like I was more into like 90s hip hop.
Gotcha.
And you know, I was still like, anything from my age is trash. Any rap coming out in 2010, garbage.
Should be banned.
Mind you, I'm missing out on like great releases because like things from like 2010 to 2020, some of the best hip hop albums to ever come out. But I was like, this is garbage.
Oh my god. You're stubborn about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Yeah, but you know,
everybody has their, you know.
Exactly. It's like as you grow up, you kind of realize you were wrong, which is like what happened by the time I was in college. I was like, wait, no, these are bangers coming out. And this is like 2014, 2015. So a lot of my hip hop taste had caught up to like modern times. So, you know, now I could start naming artists. Like I was really into like Kendrick. Kendrick and J. Cole were probably the 2 where I was like,
they're so good.
Maybe this modern rap stuff isn't too bad after all. Yeah. And I got into Drake like late to the party.
Drake. I feel like he's like a controversial one nowadays.
He's very divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's. I feel like we can't deny though that he's he knows what he's doing as an artist, as far as like.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, he's a great artist.
Absolutely.
Everything he puts out is catchy, at least.
And that's the thing, like, that I know people who will literally disagree with me when I say this. I feel like he has bars. I feel like he's a good rapper. Yeah. That's where people are gonna be like, tune out. I absolutely will tune out to this podcast. Oh my God,
please. Quick, change the subject.
But yeah, no. So I got into Drake, Kendrick, J. Cole. Logic was actually somebody that I got like really, really into around the time. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I was also into like rock and metal still. I got into like heavier rock and metal, like, because I got into instrumental guitar music too. So bands like Chon, Polyphia.
Chon is good. You guys,
I love Chon. Yeah.
They're really good.
Pliny. And then Animals as Leaders, another really big one. And then from there, I was like, man, this like crazy guitar stuff is like really cool. And so I started looking for that in like other heavy bands, and I got led to music that had like screams in it, and I was like, this is kind of butt. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
That was literally me though. I was like, man, this is kind of trash. This is kind of butt. But then like eventually I was like, no, this is kind of good.
Yeah.
So now a lot of my tastes just turned to bands like that. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say that, like, I agree that like we're into everything, but like there's some points where our music taste is just like, okay, you're more into that and I'm more into this. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and you know, I like a lot of the indie stuff too. Like Block Party's great.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, their song Helicopter, which I think is like their #1 most recognized song.
Helicopter. Yeah, they have a few.
Yeah, great song. And yeah, and I'm into R&B too. I can't forget the R&B.
I know, like, how could you forget?
Right, like Anderson .Paak. Oh,
amazing.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, I love SZA, Ari Lennox, her, a lot of the same artists that you named.
Daniel, you love Daniel Caesar.
Daniel Caesar. How could I forget?
I think that was one of the, when we first met, I feel like you were really like on a Daniel Caesar rotation.
Yeah, I really was.
I remember that. And you like, I think you put up a video of like you playing covering one of his songs or something.
Damn, I did. Yeah, there are a couple of those.
Anyway.
Because 2017, the year that I started going to unnamed university, that was when it was either 2017 or 2016 when he put out Freudian, his first album.
That was the album.
Yeah, that is such a good album. I love that album so much.
Good.
I was out here like, oh, R&B, so you listen to Daniel Caesar then? I was that guy. Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar salad. But yeah, Daniel Caesar is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
And that Freudian album is great. If I had to recommend at least 1 or 2 songs from that album, Get You, which is a single off of it. I'm not going to say Get You or Best Part because like everybody's heard those songs.
Those are the ones that everyone loves.
Blessed and Take Me Away are the 2.
Yeah.
Yes, that song's amazing.
Like, say no more. Yes.
Say less. But yeah, you know, that's at least a good background on my music taste and how it's kind of changed over the years. And we did want to take this time to kind of talk about our top like 2 or 3 favorite or, you know, most influential people to our lives that we have. Yeah. I wouldn't mind, you know, starting it off.
Yeah, go for it.
So my number 1, I keep it mad aggressive. My number 1 is Alice in Chains, of course. If you know me, anybody listening, if you know me, I love Alice in Chains to death. They're literally my favorite band. I talk about them a ridiculous amount. I will go up to people and be like, Alice in Chains is the greatest band in the world.
He's passionate.
Yeah. They're literally just a 4-piece from Seattle. They are part of the Big 4 grunge scene that blew up out of there. There's always like out of the Big 4 and grunge, I always felt like each of the 4 bands kind of leaned towards a separate direction from the other ones. Alice in Chains definitely went a more like sludge, like metal side than the other ones. They were probably, out of the 4 of them and Soundgarden were like the 2 heaviest ones, but Alice in Chains was like heavy. And the thing I liked about a lot of their music was that like lyrically, they knocked that out the park. It's like amazing, beautiful lyrics. Their harmony game,
I love that when you get like a band or an artist that has great lyrics and great music, because sometimes you get one or the other. It's not always. Yeah,
it's tough to find a group that does it well.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, Jerry Cantrell's guitar work,
Chef's kiss.
chef's kiss. Lane Staley as a vocalist, he's a god himself. Sean Kinney as a drummer, the GOAT.
God tier.
God tier. Mike Starr and Mike Inez, they were both named Mike. Those guys are just great. And like it's like really, really deep and like introspective music, but also really dark because they all had like alcoholism and like drug issues, and like they were not afraid to write about that at all, and a lot of their music had to do with that, but they still found ways to make it like relate. Like, I've never done drugs in my life, but I'm out here like, damn, like
I feel your pain though.
I feel this, bro. Like, they have a song called Junkhead, and I'm just like, yeah.
It's like as if you knew like what it was.
Yeah. And their original vocalist passed away in 2002. That's Lane Staley, literally one of the GOATs. But even now with why can't I remember his name? William. That's his name. I can't remember his last name though. He's amazing too, and he had some really big shoes to fill in, but he filled in that role perfectly. And yeah, I could talk all day about Alice in Chains. I love them to death.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love the passion. I know, like that's how you know you really like a band.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I guess I'll go.
Trade off.
Trade off. So for me, one of my big, and I already mentioned them, one of my big or most influential bands was definitely Paramore.
Yeah. The GOATs.
Yeah, and I think it was a lot of, it had to do with what, again, like it was just a hard time I was going through, and their music really spoke to me. They were definitely more angsty lyrics, like punk rock, kind of mixed with a little bit of like pop, I would say, in some of their songs. I'd say for me, definitely not their latest album so much, but their older body of work definitely spoke to me. And just seeing their performances, again, I love Hayley Williams to this day. She's one of the best. Like, just as a person, she's super humble. She doesn't need to be, but she's just so down to earth. Yeah. Because she has an amazing voice. And I would say that's definitely one of my most influential, or like at least one that like definitely made an impact on me. Yeah that matters right here. Yeah, it matters. I'm putting it in my chest right here at the heart. Shed a little tear.
My number 2 is Incubus, which is oh my god, it's another band. I could talk about them forever. I just think they're great. I literally think that I always tell people their first 3 albums, because they don't really consider their first album an album. It's not on Spotify. I don't think so. Their first 3 albums, Science, Make Yourself, and Morning View, are literally like the trifecta of like 3 perfect albums front to back. And they're all 3 completely different styles, because like they literally started out when they were like high schoolers, like high school kids, and they were putting out music. Young. Yeah.
So what type of music are, for the people who don't know?
Yeah, facts. I'm out here just rambling.
No, it's fine. I'm also curious, you know.
Yeah, Incubus are definitely like alternative rock.
Okay.
In their earlier career, around like their first album, Science, they were more like nu metal, and a lot of their songs like change genres like midway through. Like they'll have songs that like in the same song will have like elements of jazz or funk, and then go into like a metal bit, and then go back into jazz or funk. And so,
that's an interesting mix, jazz, funk too.
Yeah, and when I was in high school, that was what like really drew me to them. I was like, yo, these guys are crazy. These guys are nut jobs. The range. Yeah, the diversity.
I'm a band with better range.
You hear that silence? Exactly. And definitely like as they continue to make music, their sound matured, and they're just a very like feel good band. A lot of their songs are about like living. This sounds very cliche, about living your best life.
Live your best life.
Yeah, a lot of their songs are just about like improving yourself as a person, or just like enjoying the moments that you have day to day. One of my favorite lyrics by them is in a song called Nowhere Fast off their second album, which is will I ever get to where I'm going? If I do, will I know when I'm there? If the wind blew me in the right direction, would I even care? And it's just like, you know what I mean? Like when you're a teenager listening to that, you're like, yo, would I care? And then the lyric right after that is I would. You know?
Start reflecting real quick. You're like, wait a minute.
I'm like, damn, life, a concept. But yeah, I just really like them a lot. Their newer stuff I'm not too crazy about, but it's like their old albums have like such a good place in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think they're an amazing band overall.
That's awesome. That's really special.
Yeah.
Love that for you. Since you were like naming a bunch of songs, I kind of forgot to mention like what songs I like from Paramore.
Do your
so
thing.
I'm gonna throw that in there.
Yeah, do your thing. Throw them in there for the fans.
Yeah.
Listeners.
I would recommend I feel like people have a certain perception of Paramore that they're kind of this young, kind of like teenage audience.
Yeah.
Like they kind of gear to more like a teenage audience, but they do have some heavier stuff.
Yes,
in
they
there
do.
Too. And Wes can confirm.
I can absolutely, as the resident heavy guy,
Yeah.
I can absolutely vouch for that.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, I would say definitely listen to Future.
Yes.
That's definitely, I would say that's pretty different from the rest of their work, but that's like probably their heaviest.
Yeah, that's a great song
It's
too.
a great song, and it's like a lot of it is instrumental, but it's just so like, it's like, I don't want to say it's otherworldly.
Takes me somewhere else.
And no, because in their performance, like the way they perform that song,
It's intense.
you have to watch the way they perform it too. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Another one I love is "Let the Flames Begin." That's an awesome song.
That's a great song.
And then part 2, it kind of goes with that song. It's literally called part 2. Obviously, "Misery Business." Everybody loves that one.
A whole bop and a half.
Yeah, "Ain't It Fun?" Yeah, those are. Then there's like the more fun ones like that. There's so many. I love most of their songs, but
Yeah,
I
they're
just wanted to
amazing.
throw in some of my favorites really quick. But yeah, I would say for my second pick, I already mentioned him, so it's kind of like a giveaway. But Anderson .Paak for sure.
The guy.
Not the aha. Yeah.
Yes, Lord.
Yes, Lord. Exactly. Yeah, Anderson .Paak. I could go on and on about him, but yeah, his music style I would say is like kind of a mix of like soul, hip hop, maybe a little bit of R&B too.
Yeah.
He can do it all, like everything. I feel like he's like that jack of all trades type of guy. Like
Yeah.
he can play drums really well. He can sing, he can dance, he can rap. He can rap and sing while he's playing drums at the same
guy's a
time.
monster.
Like he can, yeah, he's such a, I hate to say this word, yeah, dynamic.
Dynamic.
Yeah, he's so dynamic, and yeah, I'll name some of my favorites. His Malibu album, that's like the one. I love Come Down. That's a fun one. My favorite one is probably The Waters.
Yes.
The
That's
Waters,
an amazing song.
The Bird, Heart Don't Stand a Chance. There's so many more, and then his Oxnard album is really good too.
Yeah,
Trippy,
that one's really,
J-
really good.
With I think Trippy was on with J. Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just so many, but I could go on and on. He's definitely one of my favorite artists
He's
to
amazing.
date. Yeah.
The guy's an absolute, like, he's literally a musical powerhouse. Like, if you have him on anything on your album, like, it's a bop.
Oh yeah, and now he's teaming up with Bruno Mars, another powerhouse. Please name a better duo. Like
Exactly.
Silk Sonic. Yeah, they started a group called Silk Sonic, and they released a couple of songs. Leave the Door Open.
Oh my god.
So good.
Bop.
And they won't say when they're gonna release their album. They
Yeah.
keep teasing it, and they just won't say anything. But whenever we get that album, I know it's gonna be gold. Like it's gonna be so good, and I'm so excited for it.
Hopefully it comes out in the summer.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
I would be surprised because they've been really saying like nothing about this album.
Yeah.
Like they're leaving us in the dark, but that'd be amazing. Even if it was in the fall, I'd be happy.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah.
Honestly. As long as it comes out when the weather's nice. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? You can just bump it with the windows down. Just
Leave the window open.
I'm gonna leave the window open.
Remix.
Yeah. My third one for my favorite artist, my last one, is a curveball. Would you say?
I'm scared.
No, you know what it is, but I feel like when people see me, they're like, "You listen to this band?" Yeah, my third pick is Weezer. I love Weezer. Their first two
I
albums.
know you do.
Their first two albums, masterpieces. I love them to death. The Blue Album and Pinkerton. Weezer are literally like to the book alternative rock. Mm-hmm. Like just straightforward. Their first album has like elements that people might call like surf rock. Like they're literally just four guys It's these four nerdy guys, like super wholesome. Their songs are literally called like In the Garage, Only in Dreams,
Island in the Sun.
Island in the Sun.
I love that song.
That's an
a more
amazing
like
song.
like beachy.
Yeah.
Because it was in a movie I liked. I will not say the movie. When I was younger.
She said, I'm not going to expose myself.
No. And I love that song. That's a good one.
That's an amazing song. But yeah, like the Blue album, like it's literally a 10 out of 10. Like there are no skips on that album. If you like rock music of any type or alternative rock, that is literally a perfect album. Their next album, Pinkerton, is one of the most divisive albums of all time because when it came out, it got torn to shreds. People were like, "This is the worst album ever. This is trash." It got torn up so bad that the lead vocalist Rivers Cuomo, amazing name by the way,
Cuomo
Rivers. Yeah.
That is a cool name, actually.
He's a Harvard graduate. He actually went to Harvard during the release. I think it might have been.
Oh, that's where we went.
Yeah, no. That is officially
Unnamed university.
That is my favorite part of this episode. That is hilarious.
At the end, we just throw in a surprise.
That's where we went.
We expose ourselves.
But not like he literally like went to school because of like how bad it was doing. Like he got torn up. And then now people are like, no, it's a perfect album. You know what I mean? So it's just like screw the critics, number one. But Blue album, Pinkerton, 2 perfect album. Weezer somehow managed to perfectly capture what it's like to be a nerdy, awkward teenager in their music like perfectly. And it's like listening to their songs literally just feels like you're hanging out in a room with like a bunch of friends like playing video games and just doing whatever. And then they have like Say It Ain't So. I know it's a wildly popular song. People are like, oh, you like Say It Ain't So? It's a great song.
Yeah, even I knew that one.
So. Yeah. I literally at one point thought about writing like a mini like essay about why that song is like a perfect song. Like
you should do that.
I really should.
You gotta what's it called? Freshen up the skills.
Yeah, facts.
What are the word? What's the word I'm looking for? You gotta freshen up
that college brain.
The scholarly skills? No. Something like that. You know what I mean.
Y'all know what we're talking about. You know what it is on the Tune Out podcast.
Stop.
But yeah, I love Weezer. Their albums after that are kind of like a roller coaster. Like the Green album that Island on the Sun is on is a great album. Green album, great album. Maladroit. The Red album. Now that's a good album right there.
I like their colors, huh?
Yeah, they do. They have a white album and a black album that they put out.
That reminds me of Block Party. I think has a. I could be wrong, so you could.
Do they have a white album?
I think they have a white album. That's a really good album too.
I remember, we're fact checking right now. Don't go to those comments just yet.
White album. The white. I think it's called the White Album.
Because I remember the cover. I remember the cover being.
Actually, I'm lying. Isn't this?
The Beatles?
I was gonna say, isn't that the Beatles?
Beatles party.
Wait, I swear, it's the Silent Alarm.
There you go.
It has a white cover. I'm gonna cry. We'll cut that out.
No, that's staying in there. That's staying in there. That's a good time. But yeah, I love Weezer. I think they're great. Listen to the Blue album. Blue album, like, I think there's a song on there for everybody. And I just think they're great. But yeah. Chanel's still looking at her phone because...
No, okay. I'm back.
Okay. We missed you.
I just feel dumb. That's all.
No, it's all good. But yeah, that's my third one. Those are my big 3. Alice in Chains, Incubus, and Weezer.
That's a good...
It's a solid
array.
Yeah.
Using some random words.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for our first episode. This was a fun time for me.
Yeah. No, I had a really good time. I hope that you guys had just as fun of a time listening to us. So here we are at the conclusion. I'd just like to say, if you guys enjoyed what you listened to, if you guys enjoyed having a good time with us here, be sure to rate us on whatever platform you're listening from, whether that be Spotify or Apple Music or whatever else you might be listening on. And make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at Tune Out Podcast. I repeat, make sure you follow.
It's literally spelled Tune Out Podcast.
Yeah, Tune Out, TUNEOUT Podcast. Tune Out Podcast on Instagram. And yeah, we basically use this episode as a way for you guys to kind of get introduced to us, know who we are, where we're coming from musically, so you guys can get a good grip on, you know, what we're going to be talking about from here on out. We have a cool couple episodes planned down in the future. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics, all within the music realm. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And yeah, once again, just make sure you guys following us on IG for any updates. We had a great time. I've been Wes.
I'm Chanel.
And this was the Tune Out Podcast.
Bye. Till next time.
Just fade out here.